plain piece of note paper. That's what my mother had to do.
Wait, it's saying not live yet.
Does anything? Let me look and see if anything's been live here. If I am, sorry for the glitches.
Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy.
It says I'm live. It says I'm live. So
Nola A got a hand clap.
Hey Nola, I can see you now. So this is our first live, so wasn't sure if we had everything set up right or not. So as I was saying, if I'm repeating myself, sorry, but I had questions about my pineapple paper piece blocks, and I'm going to look at all kinds of paper piecing today, but kind of do a beginner, and go on to this.
Hello, Sandra.
Hey, Sandra. So when I was a little girl, my mom had me practice, like when I was 7 or 8 years old, on notebook paper. I'm going to even unthread my machine, pulling out backwards, which you shouldn't do on a lot of machines. But just put your needle down, and without anything, sew on a line. So here I've got it turned down my stitch length like I'm actually piecing, but I can turn it back up to what a normal stitch length is. And just practice sewing on a line. That's where you start, sewing on a line. You won't be able to see, but I've sewed on a line. Hi, Donnell. So now let's stitch it up here.
That's a new subscriber.
New subscribers. Hi, new subscribers. Hi, old subscribers. I'm so happy with everybody. I'm really surprised with this. My visual storyteller, James, he's been telling me, do this channel. And finally, a month ago, I said, fine, do it. Just do it. So he would quit bothering me. And now we've got close to 500 subscribers in a month. Okay, so I've threaded my machine. And so then I just practice with thread, just sewing on the paper on a line. So. And you may not be able to see this orange on this paper, but I've sewed on the line here. Yeah, I think that is pretty awesome, Donnell. It's like kind of unbelievable. Okay, so I've sewed on the paper. So to do some paper piecing, depending on what kind, you need a glue stick. Somewhere I've got a glue stick. You don't really need a glue stick. You can use pens. I've got this glue stick, again, not endorsed by any particular company or anything. You can use an Elmer's glue stick, the cheap glue stick that's for a quarter, whatever kind of glue stick you got. You got pens. You need fabric. You can use scraps, which I do lots of scrappy things. If you buy a kit, you can't do it as wild as I do it because, you have limited amount of fabric in a kit. But with scraps, which everybody has plenty of, you use what you got. So I have a couple of bags of scraps down here. This one is smaller bags of scraps that I've cut off my bigger project. So like there'll be some scrap coming off of that'll go to my smaller bag. And then I've got a bigger bag, and these are like 2.5-inch strips, some a little bigger, just chunks. So let's find something in here. Let's find something long enough in here. There's a white piece long enough, and let's get a colored piece of something long enough. I see one I want. I dropped it. That's the one I want. We'll use this pink. Okay. So if you're paper piecing, you are sewing on the back of your line. So you find your lines. Some things you need are rulers. This add a quarter ruler, it's nice to have. You don't have to have it. Any ruler that's got a 1/4 inch line. If you're doing the miniatures, you need to add 1/8 of a line. And then you need a straight edge. I just use an index card for a straight edge. You don't really need this for doing scrap paper piecing, but we're pretending we're actually doing something big. So there's my line that I want to sew on. I folded my paper. I take my base fabric, whatever it is, and I line it up 1/4 inch over that line. And then I take my other color. This one's plenty big, so I'm just going to chop that off here. Face down together, just like you're going to do it, but we're going to sew on the line. So since that's my line, I needed to turn that over. 1/4 inch pass, face together. We would have that pinned or glued. I'm holding it. See how they're faced together here? We just lay them under there and then we sew on our line. Hey, Alan. So just sew on your line here. You know, this isn't rocket science. Practice what makes it perfect. But mine's not perfect by a long shot. I bought several of the Jacqueline de Jong patterns, you know, which are very expensive, but I got them at a garage sale years ago. I still haven't touched them. Because that's more of a precise paper piece. So we sewed here. See on my orange line, we sewed here. Then we go back to the back of our paper and just press it down. Let's see. Paper piecing. You got tons of scraps. Yeah. See? So now it's on the line. We got a straight line. You really don't have to do straight lines and everything for scraps. You just lay your fabric on there and sew it. But we're going to get over to when you do need the straight lines more. But that's just practicing. And you can do scrap papers on. You can get phone book paper. You can have, so this is more foundation. This is notebook paper. They have commercial papers that are real thin, like Carol Doak, which I'm not endorsing either, but they're good papers. Little kids' coloring book pages, you can get those and just sew them down. So that's all we do to get that done. Let me put this aside. I might use that sometime for something. I might tear them off and put them on my project. So these are my pineapple blocks I'm working on. Look how messy these are. These look like a mess, don't they? Mess, 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 mess. Let's get down to the bottom here. I've got one to start with. Oh, I'm going to turn my phone this way. It's looking sideways, so I'm reading sideways. So my pad's falling apart because I'm down to the last 2 to start. I thought I'd get farther, but I went to bed last night. But they have cutting tips on here and cutting, so they want you to cut exact sizes. I'm not cutting exact sizes. Let me see. We'll scroll up there. Oop. I think I might have messed that up. Nope. Let me go back. There we go. Cindy on here. I'm trying to keep up here. Trying to keep up with sewing and everything. But Cindy had asked for some tips and everything. Cindy Hughes. So Cindy, if you're watching, this one's for you. Let me get back to my one that's really off kilter. Okay. So I did not cut like they suggested. So this is round number 10. Let's see. 10, 11, 12. So they said cut numbers 10, 11, 12, 2.5 by 6 inches. Mine are, let's see, that one's 7.5. This one's 9 by 5, because that's what I had. But they trim up to be what you need them to be. And then you have more scraps for smaller things. So on the back here, I need a straight edge. And since that was number 10, I just put my little straight edge along number 10. Fold it up here. Take my add a quarter. I'm trying to find all my things here. Just chop it off. So that's still big enough that it can go into a big piece. I have a pile over there of big pieces. I'm glad everybody took time to check in. This is our first live, so not sure how this will go. So I've got 13 people watching right now. That's amazing, because it's amazing. This whole adventure has been. So I'm just folding along these lines here and trimming them off, and then I'll be ready to go on another white line. But when you do it like I do, you don't have to be as precise, so you don't have to be as scared of it. Let's see, I lay my little straight edge, and I've used junk mail for straight edges. I use an index card. Over here, I've got a little magnifying glass. It's in a little case. I've used that edge of that magnifying glass as a straight edge before. And I'm going to show you all kinds of paper piecing products here in a minute because I have a bunch of them. But you don't have to go buy them either if you haven't figured that one out. You can go online and Google half square triangle paper. You can print up your own. You Google paper piece patterns. There's all kinds of free ones online, so you can do your own. So that one is cut down to length. So everybody hit the thumbs up so I can see who's on here. I know there's 13 of you right now, I believe. But I can't see all the names at once while I'm trying to do both at the same time. It's like walking and chewing gum. Sewing and watching, especially with a rotary cutter in hand. So I'm just trimming up the edges right now to make them more square, to make them more to that 2.5 they should have been. But I'm not real worried about wasting fabric because I have so many scraps. So that one, I think, is going to the trash. These two, they're going in my bag of smaller scraps. One more and then I'll be done with this one. Then we'll go on to something else. This was just what I was in the middle of working on because I still need a few more to finish this whole. It's going to be a big quilt. It's going to be 42 blocks, so 6 by 7, 12-inch blocks. Do that math. Do the math there. So what's that? A 72-inch for one of them, for one side. Okay, so there it is. Oops, except there's one I didn't cut. So, cut one more. And then it'll be ready to add my white strips because this one I'm doing scrap, white, scrap, white. There we go. Scrap, 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 trash. Okay, so that one is all trimmed up. So then I'll just go to the numbers here. That was 10, 11, 12, 13. So 14, 15, 16 are going to be white. And we just add the white on there. Hey, Laura. It's really not that bad if you go back and see from the beginning. If you had how I started sewing when I was a little kid, just sewing on a piece of paper just to get lines straight. It's basically sewing on lines and putting your pieces right side together, what you would normally do. And instead of sewing on the front on your fabric, you sew on the back on your paper and sew straight lines. Hey, Sandra, thumbs up. Okay, so here's all the ones I still need to trim. I don't know if y'all want to watch me trim all of these and then sew some more, but those are the 12-inch pineapple blocks, and this is Back Quarter Shop's product. I like them, but I'm not endorsing them. And I'm going to pull over a whole bunch more. A lot of them miss Back Quarter Shop because she has it. So these are triangles on a roll. And if you watch Back Quarter Shop videos, you've seen her use these, but this makes really fast half square triangles. I was going to do a video on different half square triangle methods. See which one actually made them fast, like make eight at a time one, draw the line, do the papers. But for these, you just roll out how many you want. So one square like this would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would make 8 half square triangles at once. You just lay 2 pieces of paper right side together, sew on the lines, and then you have half square triangles. So this is another project I'm working on. Imagine that, another one at the same time. So this was 2 jelly roll strips right side together, and then I laid the 2.5 inch size on here. And this one makes 1 inch finish. Now, if you ever had to do 1 inch finish triangles, those are teeny tiny. But then you just follow the line, you sew, and then you trim. All you do is line up on the lines here. Get over there, triangles on a roll. Watch how fast I get these half square triangles. As long as I trim it right while I'm trying to talk at the same time. Trim. Maybe I won't trim all of them, but this is messy with all the papers, but I'm a messy sewer anyway. Papers are not, so it really doesn't make a difference to me. Now, when other people do it, they show you cutting each one of these lines. I line them up because this isn't going to be in your seam allowance. So I got about 3 of them here, and then I just go ahead and cut 3 of them. So they're cut. Got my other 2. Make sure you get your lines going in the same directions. Stack them up, cut them up. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 half square triangles right there, real quick. And these are, let's see, boom. Now you still have to trim dog ears. So you're going to see somebody with their scissors. Where'd my scissors go? These are my little scissors. And we're going to trim those dog ears. Boom, boom. No, we're not doing that. Stack up my triangles again. Stack them up. This is all in the seam allowance. I got 4 of them right here right now. Rotary cutter. So I'm just going to trim at an angle right there. Right here. Don't know if you can see that. So right there, going to trim off those dog ears. They're all lined up. Watch your fingers. Go just at an angle up to your seam allowance. Chop. They're trimmed. They are trimmed. You just need to press, and there they are. And since you've shortened your seam allowance when you're doing paper piecing, they just zip off of there. You can get your kids to do it while you're watching TV, do it when you're taking a break. Okay, so there's triangles on a roll, which is paper piece, but not paper piecing. It's kind of foundation papers again. Get those scraps off of here. Oh, I missed the trash can. Let's go to these. So I have lots. So here's a couple of various 3.5 inch blocks she has. So there's flying geese. Here's a bigger flying geese. For flying geese paper, you lay down number 1, so on number 2 and 3, and then you looks like a square and a square, but when you trim it up, you get a perfect flying geese, guys. So they're not too hard to do either. And this is still a Fat Quarter Shop product. And I didn't mention on the triangles on a roll layout, she bought the company. It was owned by somebody else, but she liked it so much she bought the company. I can't buy the company. So those are flying geese paper. I know she's got more than what I've got. There's courthouse steps blocks. She's got those in small and large. There's a snail trail. When I started doing this one in 2019, it came in that sew sampler box. I no longer subscribe to that because I move around so much. My address changes. I didn't want them getting lost in the mail. During COVID, they got behind and I got behind, so they just got stacked up. But these were my little snail trail blocks, and I like this pattern so much, I bought more of this fabric at Hancock's of Paducah when I was there for the quilt show last March with my friend Jennifer. So I bought more of the fabric to make even more of them. And my idea was to make these small snail trail, because I saw this on at some other show. Do small trails, snails trails, do those, and then do a row of big ones. So row or two of small. Is everybody enjoying this still? I got 8 people watching. So this is our first live. So just trying to do a rundown of some paper piece stuff. And then we go on to Kim. Then she's got big. She's got economy blocks. She's got log cabin blocks. She's got snail trail blocks. Or I've got them too. And then we got the pineapple blocks. So that's just one person's product. And Missouri Star has these wacky triangle web papers. So they are like tissue paper. I got a small and a large one. There's a little wacky web ruler that goes on it, and it covers a triangle, and then you add your strips. Just add your strips to it, foundation piece. Add to them like that, and makes a little spider web. So I've got one quilt done of that, and then I bought more so I could do more because I have so many scraps. Or I could have just drawn some out. Then you go on to things like the Jacqueline de Jong, or making butterflies and things. And those, I said, just Google search paper piece patterns. Start with something easy, and don't try to make a whole quilt the first time you do it. Just make some blocks. Just try practicing drawing on your lines. When you do paper piece, shorten your stitch length. I go down to about 1.5. That makes your papers easier to tear off, and since they're such short stitches, you won't be able to tear your papers off. So 1 or 2 stitches past your line, that'll just lock your stitch when your next stitch comes across there, so it's locked in there. And then once you get going, some people are going to take a little time. Some people are going to jump right into those Jacqueline de Jong patterns right away, but mine are still sitting for 10 years later, sitting and waiting. But they are big, big projects. I think the patterns are $50-ish maybe. And then the kits run into the hundreds of dollars for the big ones, but they are beautiful and they are very precise. An easy block to start with, Nola. We'll first start with, I would do some foundation, just so you're sewing on a line. Try some lines on the paper if you've never done it before. But a pineapple is pretty easy, and look online and look for those free ones before you invest in a pad. Like the big pads, this one I bought at a store in, where was I at? I was in South Dakota. It's $15 for this big pad. So the big ones run somewhere in that range. And the bigger you start with, the easier it is at first, I think. Because just like doing teeny tiny pieces, if you're sewing any pattern, those teeny tiny pieces are kind of harder to start with than the big ones. The big ones, you don't have to manipulate as much. Or a flying geese, something without a lot of seams. Something with maybe 3 seams. There's a lot of them online where you can make a star, but it only has 3 or 4 seams. Print that out, and you do it in sections. So you have like 4 sections. You sew 3 or 4 pieces together, 3 or 4 pieces, 3 or 4 pieces, 3 or 4 pieces, and you put those 4 together to make your whole star. If you do anything like that, put it on Facebook. Go on my Facebook and show how you done and what you liked about it. Let me know what else you need to see on here. Facebook is the Traveling Quilter. It's on Facebook, and I have a couple pictures on it. But the sand dollar, little brown sand dollar, that is what you'll see on my page. And then there's a picture of a quilt on the beach as the title page. So that's me. I don't have a lot of people posting their stuff yet. I want to see everybody else's stuff. Gives me some ideas also. So put that on there. Like and subscribe to everything. I'm going to trim up some more blocks here so you can just see that again. Oh, let's see. Hey, Denise. Oh, let's see. I'm in the middle of trimming. Let me get these because I don't want to lose these. These are for a little project I'm doing. I have, oh my God, I got so many projects with me. I've got more projects with me than I've got clothes with me. I had to downsize my clothes so I could bring more projects because that's more important is my is my sewing than my clothing. Maybe one point in my life my clothing was more important to me, but right now my sewing is what I like better than my clothing. So all I'm doing is folding on the line, and I don't even go in order. So I just folded down for number 8. So this was 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this is number 8 I folded down for because it's the first one I saw. So once you get going, you don't have to follow the rules. The other ones say do number 1, do number 2, number 3. When you do start, you do need to sew number 1, number 2, number 3. When you trim, you can trim them all, trim whichever. Okay. So do you want to see? Let me start a block for you. How about that? Let's start one. Then that's better than being in the middle. Let's, because I've got one more to do here. Okay. Maybe that would explain it a little better. See, I'm a little scattered. Take your one paper there. Take your straight edge here. So I've got. See, we got number 1, and it's lighter, and then the grays are darker. So grays are dark colors, whites are white for me. See, I don't know how close we can get up in there. And I just put the piece of paper on there, and I'm just folding. And it's going to eventually use all those papers. So I just fold it. Some people will take one of those little markers, the little wheels with the little teeth on them, and you can run that little teeth along there too. I've got one. I haven't used it yet. It might not be a bad idea because it works for somebody. It might work for me too. I just haven't tied it yet. Just an old note card I've got here. Okay. And then somewhere I have a white piece. There's a white piece. There's my white piece. And I use white on white so much, and I don't know why, because then I have to look and figure out which is the right side. I was going to look for her little instructions again too. They're somewhere up there. But we're going to sew on the line side so I can see where my creases are. My white just has to cover all those lines. And there's my right side up. My little glue stick went away, but here it is. Glue, 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 glue. Just a few little strips of glue. And stick it on here. Okay. And I've got a 1/4 inch hanging over on this side. I've got a little bit more hanging over on that side. That's okay. And then I need 4 color pieces. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Got the Avengers here. I've got my machine set to 1.5 now. Right sides together still. And you can pin this, but as long as it hangs over a 1/4 inch on all the sides. Some people pin it. I just pick it up as such, lay it on the bed, put my hand under there so it holds steady and doesn't move. Come back here, stitch right on the line. Remember, start a stitch or 2 before your line and go a stitch or 2 after your line. Do y'all lose things? I lose things all the time when I'm sewing because I'm kind of messy. And then I'm just going to finger press that back right now. See how much more that extended. This piece is going to go into my bigger scrap. Got my little Avengers here. And on this, it really doesn't matter which direction they go. I'm gonna lay it on there, turn it over, stick it under, and sew it down. Hey, thanks, visual storyteller. You get to be the recipient sometimes, I think. You check out this visual storyteller's page too. He does great drone photography and other photography. He takes some pictures of where we've been. Okay, so press that one down. See, they're overlapping, but they are going to get cut off here. Hi from Florida, we're at Measure Cut Sew. I know where you're from, Measure Cut Sew 850. I know exactly where you're from, 850. How are you doing? Measure Cut 850 is my bestest friend. I didn't know you were up this morning. I was going to message you. Okay, right back here on the line again. There we go. Hey, from Central Illinois. I used to live in Southern Indiana. Where in Central Illinois are you? I drive through Mount Vernon all the time. I wish you could get upstairs too. I wish you could come see me. Oh, look how much extra overlying that is, because that's going to be over. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Oh, St. Pete. Ellen's from St. Pete. I have a place in Madeira Beach also. Close to St. Pete. Now, where'd my other color go? I don't know where I put it. I'm going to put this one instead because it might have fallen down or it's under my ruler somewhere. See, that one totally covers. That one's so big it totally covers. I'm not doing that 2.5 inch. I don't have time to be cutting strips into 2.5 inch, but you can if you want to. Oh, my notification came up. That's how you knew. Okay. I made a little shortness there, so I was going to do this, you know. Got a wild hair this morning, so oh, let's just do it. You know, we're kind of spontaneous like that. Let's just do it. Okay, they are all sewn down. I'm going to get up and iron this. Don't look at my clothes. I still got my Dama pants on. Don't look. It's a secret. They're Etsy pants I got. No, not Etsy pants. Temu pants. Here's my iron. I got this all tangled up. Got my ironing cord underneath my iron. There we go. So I'm just going to iron them. Iron them. Just to press down what I just did. I finger pressed as I went. So that looks nothing like where my other ones are. Here. Let's get them underneath here. Those. So see the center here? The center here looks nothing like the center there, but it's going to in just a minute. We're going to trim. That's what it is. Glue, sew, trim. Oh, Decatur, okay. Yeah, I traveled on 64 because I'm a big Cardinals fan, or at least I was until my boy Molina retired. So I'm sad. So we did number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flip it over here. We do some more creasing here. So there's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oop, there went the scissors. At least they're little pointing scissors and not big sharp ones. Folding it down here. And I'm folding on number 7 because that's the first one I came to. Yeah, you know I'm not ultra clean. You know I got a big mess, Jennifer. Who has ultra clean? Who cleans up everything? I want to know who. I got 13 people watching. Does everybody clean up everything every night? Okay, see So there's a chunk. Those can go into my little scrap. That little piece, I'm not saving that. I save a lot, but I'm not saving that. So 7, 8, totally out of order here. 7, 8, down here. So if you don't have this add a quarter ruler, because you didn't need it, something that has a 1/4 inch. I can't see that one too well. This one I can see. Just put your 1/4 inch right there on your fold, so you don't have to have that over a 1/4 inch. It just makes it easy because you can butt it up there and it doesn't slide at all. But you don't have to have it. Maybe trash, keep. Maybe trash. I didn't see that. Oh, you finally cleaned up after months. No. Yeah, you know, visual storyteller, he likes me cleaning up. He's the clean one. And Measure Cut So, did you see his last video? I really like the, is it the last one? The last one and the one before. Kind of a negative image. I really like that. Nola, only clean maybe once a month. Right? Well, I'm kind of an ADD sower, I guess, because I start projects and then it's like, or maybe it's a squirrel. I see squirrels. Used to live on Madeira Beach. Oh, okay. Went to the middle school there. Okay. Yeah, I have a place right across from John's Pass, kind of catty corner, like right at the very end there. I've had that for 30-ish years, but I haven't been now for a couple of years since I'm out traveling around anyway. I don't get a chance to go. It's a timeshare. It's not my place. I've got a week. In Madeira Beach. I bought it because one of my good friends moved down there to, she moved to St. Pete years ago when she got married. Then she got divorced and remarried. She lives over there on 9th Street, I believe, 9th Avenue. 9th Avenue. Oh. I'm just getting this block trimmed up, and then we're going to see what it looked like for getting those first pieces on here. So now that anybody that was football fans, which not really, that's over. Because what are we doing this weekend? Anybody got humongous plans? Because I'm just staying in. We'll probably go out and do some drone photography later. We may go to the park. Oh, Miss Measure Cut So, you see that? You got a message there. Somebody's waiting on you. Okay, so there is round 1 finished with number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5. But I sewed them on in whichever order I wanted. So now we go to 6, 7, 8, 9, and those will be my white strips. And I've got some white strips here. Do those look like they're whatever she told me to cut those to? Probably 5 inches or something, but I just took 2.5 inch strips and I cut them long enough. Let's see, right side together, because you know I can't see the right side. All together. Ellen doesn't clean up every night. That's why I just keep adding to it. Sometimes I wish I could clean up everything. My cutting table at home is just covered with project here, project there. But I know where my stuff's at. If you ask me for that piece of red, white, and blue fabric, I can find it for you. I know where it's at. I've had some friends offer, tell me, oh, I'll come help you clean that up. Like, yeah. I know where my stuff's at. Oh, gotta get down here and get these scissors. There they are. Virtual storyteller, Measure Cut So says she's going to get busy in March. So she's got 2 weeks. He's laughing at you, Miss Measure Cut. So, see how much longer that one is? Hoping this one may not be wide enough. It's not, it does have to be 2.5. That's close, but it's not going to cut it. Not going to cut it. Ha ha ha. Funny. Yeah, those are 2. Put them down in the not 2.5. But I have more. Look at that. Let's see. And I need it to be this long. So get my big scissors over here on this side. I'm like a magician, huh? I can find what I got. Now my helper at home, we know about him finding things that we need, don't we? So I've got a son at home that lives in my house there. So my house is not empty at home. There's a person living there. But I've asked him to find some things for me before to send me, and like it could be right in front of him and he's not finding them. Oh yeah, so I wish you could get upstairs and sew together. Got me 11 thumbs up. 1, 2, 3. I bet I need 4 pieces of this. See? If anybody ever wants to do a live together or do a sew along together so we can all sew together. Because I like having friends to sew with. Miss 850 and I, Measure Cut Sew 850, we go to retreats together. Where all have we been? We've been to Houston, we've been to Paducah, just our local guild retreat. But at the guild retreat, we stay up all night long. I think most people are going to bed at 10 by 10. No, we go to bed about 5 a.m., get up at 7. Keep on going. We're always the last women standing. I don't think we've had any men come to our retreats. We've had some men in our guilds, but no men come to our retreats. I wanted to do a little quilt tour of the local shop here where I'm at right now, but the owner's never there. So sometime we're going to get there. She said we could go ahead and tape there, but we kind of wanted her to be there. She told her sales girl we could tape that. Okay, let's see. So that one I just chopped off. All I needed to go is from here to here. So that will be long enough, and that piece is only, let's see, 5 inches long. It'll be plenty long. Oh yeah, we've been to Daytona, we've been to Chattanooga. We've been to lots of shows. Lots of shows and lots of sewing together. Okay. So to get my white on white, sometimes I gotta put it down on my pants or something so I can see which is the white side up. We might get this one whole block done here if I stay on long enough. This was really just going to be how to sew on lines. Because my goal is to get all these pineapple blocks completed and then get my whole pineapple quilt up. Hey Denise, I like watching, then I like to listen to others they quilt. It keeps me company. Well, Denise, you can be our friend. You can sew along with us. Tell us when you're going to be on. Thing for me is it's hard to make a complete schedule because my work hours and never know when they're going to be. But I just started this job here 2 weeks ago. I'm here for 3 months. I got a pretty good schedule. Some people would actually hate it, I think. But I work 6 12-hour nights in a row. So, that day after that 6th night, it's useless. It's sleeping. And then, but then I have 8 days off. So that's time to go visiting places. So I don't want to sew when I'm visiting because that's one reason to go different places is to explore the area. But I explore the quilt shops too. But 8 days in a row, I can get a lot done in that amount of time. Especially in an area that, it's got things to do, but they're not things that are going to take hours upon hours, except when we went hiking through a cave for 2.5 hours the other day. Reminded me how out of shape I am. Can't believe I used to, a few years ago, I was at the gym 4 or 5 days a week, just right before COVID. It shows too that I'm not at the gym anymore, but yeah, walking through that cave for 2.5 hours, like, whew, the next day, that's like, somebody was sorry, I was sorry, but it was all right. And yesterday hiked up a trail, and it was a pretty steep incline or decline. Going down was okay, then had to come back up. And YouTube, I also listen to YouTube when I'm in bed. I don't know if everybody saw me make my little phone holder. And I think Major Cut Sew is the one that showed me how to make those in the first place years ago. And then so I made that little tutorial of that. But when I'm going to sleep in the morning, I turn on YouTube videos. And I go to sleep watching YouTube videos. Not all of them are always quilting videos. So what else do you watch when you're on YouTube? Not is it just quilting videos? A few months ago, my sad obsession, I watched old game shows like What's My Line and things. Some people may not even remember What's My Line. There's a sad obsession watching that. What's My Line and not Whose Line Is It Anyway? What's My Line? There was another one. Oh, it was with imposters. Like with the real so-and-so, please stand up. What was that? What's that show? Somebody here knows that. With a real so-and-so, please stand up. That was my sad obsession when I was living in South Dakota going to sleep. And now my sad obsession is Judge Judy. Hi, Judge Judy. Sure, Judge Judy's not quilting. Maybe Judge Judy should quilt. Might calm down a little bit, right? Calm you down, Judge Judy. I do have a drink here. I'll get my drink there. So here I'm just trimming my white strips. Now that I've done my color strips, so I did number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I've done 6, 7, 8, 9. Just trim them up. Hi, Michelle. How are you this morning? And Kathy? Oh, To Tell the Truth. That's what it was, Kathy. It was To Tell the Truth. I knew somebody would know what that show was. Yeah. Sometimes I was staying up and watching them instead of going to sleep. I was already lacking sleep, and then I was really lacking because I was staying up because I wanted to see who the imposter was. Anderson Cooper. Did you ever see Anderson Cooper was on To Tell the Truth when he was a little boy? So I saw that one. Let's see what we got here. That's going to be too small. That's going to be so that's going in my small bag for small things. These are going in the trash bin. See, that's one of those. I made that. That's one of those little spring-loaded trash bins. Those are really easy to do, and you can get those from any of your local online quilt stores. You can get the little spring thing, and then use your choice of fabric. So I got some little, I guess, Dia de la Muerta girls on mine. I don't know who started that obsession. Let's see. You need to go on my Facebook page there, Measure Cut Sew 850. Put a picture of your quilt. She won Viewer's Choice one year at our local quilt show, and she had a Day of the Dead fabric on there, and she won the Viewer's Choice. No, Judge's Choice, not Viewer's Choice. Judge's Choice ribbon for that quilt, and it was like a one block wonder, 4-patch posy. That was what it was, a 4-patch posy, wasn't it? And you won. It looked really amazing. Yeah, me is right. If I knew how to work this cutter, I'd be done sooner. But I'm being a good girl. Look, I'm closing it up. Yeah, wasn't too long ago I had that blade open, And I was using it, but I put it down for just a second and then I knocked it off on the floor. And I jumped soon enough because I can jump still. I can jump. Can't play basketball, but I can jump out of the way of a falling blade so I didn't cut my dang toe open. Okay, did we get them all? Got them all. Woo! Yay! Another round of color here, and then we'll be on to more white ones. I might have cut more white strips, but let's see. I got one. Let's put a little iron on that piece. Put a little iron on that piece. I know exactly what that fabric I used. I made my aunt a quilt. I made them. It was a tulip quilt. It was Natalie. It was a triple play from Missouri Star Quilt Company. It was Natalie's version. It was tulip. So my aunt, I made her using that fabric. That was one of my stems. We can use that one. Let's put some watermelons in there. And let's put, oh, there's a piece of tulip pink fabric with the little stitches. Let's put that in there. You know, when I was home last month, I was going through my fabric and I found a fat quarter bundle of tulip pink, and it was from that original line that people are paying lots of bucks for. I was going to bring it with me and give somebody the opportunity to buy that because I'm not that, I like it, but I'm not that attached to it. But it's staying home in Florida. But if somebody wants to pay hundreds of dollars for a fat quarter, I'm not stopping them. They can do that. I mean, you know, a collection is worth whatever it's worth to the collector. It's not. So my mother, my mom said she'd been watching some of my videos. She said if it wasn't my daughter, I wouldn't be watching that. But she'd sure watch it if it was on a subject that interested her, like books. Major cut. So she's seen my mother's book collection. Yeah, as my mom calls it, selective hoarding. That's what I am. I'm a selective hoarder. I hoard fabric. And did anybody get in on that end of bulk box Missouri Star had yesterday? You know I wanted it. I didn't get it. I did not get it because I'm not going to buy a roof rack for my vehicle. Not doing it. Not buying a trailer. Not buying an RV. I'm going to go with what I've got. So until I use up every bit of this, I'm not buying any more scraps or into bulk boxes. I'm not doing it. I know if y'all saw that, so you're all subscribers since you're on there, but my little goblet here, you know, we're giving this away. So tomorrow at noonish, that's at mountain time. We're going to cut off the comments. So go to that video and comment if you want to win that little red goblet that you could use to make a pincushion, or you could you do whatever you want to do with it. Drink a little bit of wine out of it. I mean, that's awful small. What's the wine you drink with dinner where you just take a sip? Cognac? You just take a little sip of it? No. I don't drink as much wine as I might have at one point in my life. I mean, I haven't had any wine for months. Had one margarita here not too long ago, but I know I could carry in a camper, but I'm not getting a camper because then I'd have to pull the camper or drive the camper. No, Major Cut. I know. You could come and drive the camper. You could chauffeur me around, me and my fabric. And we'll buy a camper. You could just bring yours and chauffeur me around. How about that? We would love to have you. Anybody else want to come chauffeur me around the country? I'm all for chauffeuring. I could just, if we had an RV, we could get a driver and we could just set up like sewing machines in the back of the RV, and we could just sew as we drove. How about that? Good idea. I think we need to put that one into action. Not you can't drive. Well, Mr. Measure Cut, so maybe he could drive. So anybody just joining us, we're just doing some pineapple paper piecing here. I'm gonna review this for anybody who hadn't seen it. So we started out just showing people how to sew some straight lines. That's also good if you want to get your kids sewing. That's how my mom started me, just some kindergarten paper. This is the note paper I had, so it's only half lines. But just sew on your lines there. Sew straight lines on your lines. And then just practice getting your pieces to lay across your lines here. Okay. So I'm putting that to the side for a minute. We just reviewing here. So there's my next line. Get my little card. My next line is gonna be right there. Get my little card. Boom. Make a crease. Come back over here. I'm gonna overlap. I'm gonna use this one again. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. Decisions, since it's scrap. So overlay it. Right sides together. Get my right sides together again. Quarter line. Hey, Sherry. Yeah, I saw Brenda said that yesterday. I'm glad you came. Like, I had no idea she was going to do that. I got a lot of people coming from Brenda. I love Brenda. So we just sew right on this line right there. I don't know if you can see the line from that angle, but we're just sewing on the line. And you know what? If it's a stitch to that side of the line, stitch to this side of the line, it's going to be okay. Especially on a scrap one. Especially on scraps, it's going to be okay. My squeaky scissors. Ugh. There. And then just fold it over. There we go. And then you trim it to wherever your line is. So that's just a practice. Just practice sewing on notebook paper. It'll get you there, so then you'll be able to start sewing on a big piece. And then you start sewing on making those designs, butterflies and stuff. Okay, this one. I'm gonna get that right there. See how far that one overlapped there? I'm glad everybody kind of feeds off each other. You know, quilting is a community here. It's always been kind of community, and you got all levels of quilters. People that have just started. I was so amazed with Miss Measure Cut Sew 850 and I. We went to a show. I know you were with me then, but there was a lady that she won Best of Show in the quilt. I mean, it was the APQS show. She won Best of Show one year, and it was her very first quilt. Very first, she said. And she said she did not have a background in quilting, did not have a background in art. And go look this up. The name of her quilt was, what was it? Why Not? Why Not? And somebody told her, don't start with a big project. And she said, why not? And she made, it was a queen or a king size. And the blocks, they were log cabin blocks. They were 2 inches, 3 inches, with the center piece being like your fingernail size. I've got a picture of my finger up beside that, but she called it Why Not? But, she was a quilting prodigy is what that lady was. But yeah, first place in APQS show for very first time quilter. And then the next, I think she might be the one that won this year also. She might be the one that won. It was like you stood off in a distance and the quilt was black and white. And then when you got up close, it was pastel colors. But it looked black and white from a distance. So there we are with my big floppy pieces, not 2.5, not 2.5 by 5, I think is suggested for this round, but that is not what I did. I did whatever I wanted to, because that's what I do, whatever I want to. Don't look at the pants again. No pants comments. You gotta be comfortable when you're sewing. So you gotta have your drink, you gotta have whatever you're comfortable in. If you're not comfortable, you know you're not gonna last long. It's a good day not to put your clothes on, just sew in your jamba pants or your shorts or barefoot. I don't know what the weather is in the rest of the country, you know. It's gonna be about 70 here today. So I'm sure this morning it was around 38. That's what it is overnight. It's always cold and then it warms up to about 70. Okay, so time to trim those. And those pieces are big enough to go into my next ones because I will use those on my little pineapples or my little courthouse steps. I'll be using those something else. Well, Kathy, I'm glad Brenda told everybody to come. Kathy, Brenda sent you too. I need to send Brenda a bouquet of roses. Yeah, she has so many things to do. So many scrap projects.
The visual storyteller welcome them to this community.
Oh, and visual storyteller. He's my videographer, so he said welcome to you. I hope you enjoy this. I mean, it's just kind of a. Is it Saturday? My days run into each other. Saturday, so long for pineapple paper piece. Called it the three P's is what we're doing today. It's not perfect paper piece because I'm not perfect, but paper piecing projects. I showed everybody on my stash of different paper piece pads. There's some more peas. Look, we got flying geese of different sizes. We got courthouse steps, snail's trail. There's my little snail trail blocks that were done that I still have to get more done and then do my big snail trails to get my whole quilt for that. It was just going to be just a little 36 by 36 snail trail with this fabric. I said, and then when I was at Hancock's in Paducah with somebody last year's quilt show, not this past March, the one before, I bought more of this fabric to make big snail trails. So I decided to make it big because why little? 21 in Ohio. No. I think it was 28 here the other morning and actually had to scrape the frost off my windows when I got off work in the morning, but it was 70 then in the afternoon. You know, I moved from the Midwest 2008 is when I actually left the Midwest and started traveling. And then I stayed full time starting in 2011, maybe. Then I went back and traveled again in 2018, and then went back to staying at home. And then here in 2022, I started traveling again. And in the last year, covered just a little more than a year now, but I hit 32 states in a year. Didn't stay in all of them, didn't work in all of them, but just driving through them to get to where I was going or taking little side trips. We hit 32 states. There was nothing left to buy at Hancock's. That wasn't me. That was somebody else was buying all the stuff. No, we bought a lot of stuff at Hancock's. I bought a scrap bag at Hancock's. I don't know if I got that fabric with me, but I bought this scrap bag at Hancock's because it had mermaids in it. I love some mermaids. I've got a mermaidish tattoo. Shh, don't tell my mom. Oh, she knows. But when I got that back to our hotel, we were looking through our scrap bags, and they were mermen. They weren't mermaids. They were mermen. And they were mermen having fun. Mermen. I like that fabric. I'm gonna throw it into something, but I don't know if I brought that with me if it's still at home because it needs to go in some projects. It was less than a fat quarter I think I had of that. It was just in a scrap bag. Your birthday's in 3 days. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Froggy. So 3 days. What is the date for 3 days from now? So I'm so behind on. That's one thing night shift does to me. It's like I don't know what day it is sometimes. I don't know what day of the week it is. So if you run into night shifters, be kind to us. I go to work during the day. I go to work when it's light outside and it's one day. I get off the next day and it's dark still sometimes, and it's a whole different date, a whole different day. I'm too old to be confused. You know, when you get a little older, sometimes that just comes naturally. 21st. 21st. Okay. Happy birthday on the 21st. Do we have that one done yet? No, we got it done. We got that one done. Time for more white, and I don't know if I have any more white strips cut, but you know what? I have a whole pile of white fabric. This one's long enough still. I got a little bit. Then I'll have to cut some more white fabric because I'm gonna have to do a little bit more anyway, just for all I've got. Somebody's got something that looks good at my house. Maybe I need one of those. You know, it's not Christmas that we found some of those soft peppermints. We found them at the Dollar General store, which is one on every corner some places. We like those, so we've been through a couple bags already. There's not that many in a bag. They're very small bags. Very small bags. There we go. So we did through a couple bags here in the month. We just bought a new bag yesterday. Makes every day Christmas. Has anybody been to the movies lately? We went to the movie theater yesterday, and we talked about going to see Bob Marley One Love. And then I saw a preview for The Web. It's like a girl spider woman kind of thing. It's a Marvel thing. Got bit by a spider. Okay. There's two hours of my life I won't get back. But I'm sure there are Marvel fans out there that will thoroughly enjoy that. But, I'm not a superhero movie fan for the most part anyway, so no. Okay, somewhere in here I got piles of white. There's my piles of white fabric. There we go. And you know how I'm going to cut this? Very quickly. Let's see, there's my raw edge. Let's hold it this way. I don't need that many of them right now. Just need a chunk of it. So you can read your thing and cut up all your pieces and start. I cut as I go. Oh. Go back there. Where am I at? I can't see my comments anymore. There I am. Okay. There's what I'm working on. There's the one I'm working on. I'm not seeing any comments right now. That's okay. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. So I need 3 more pieces that are about that long. There's 1, 2. 1, 2. See, I'm losing my cutter already, and I'm right here. 1, 2. 3. That'll finish this block up. Find the right side of that piece again. La, 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 la. There it goes. Is anybody going to try some paper piecing that have not tried some paper piecing now? Who's up for it? Make sure I saw my white to my white. Oh, you know what? There's something I want to try. Hey, Denise. Glad you're still listening. Hey, visual storyteller. You go in the bathroom cabinet, and there's in the middle cabinet, in the bottom, there's some little things in there. I just got them from Temu yesterday, and I wanted to give them a try for something, and I have not done it. So we're gonna try. It's another little surprisey thing. I want to see if it works. Yeah, throw that up here. So I'll see if I can add this to my little sewing repertoire. So these are little face or hair trimmers. Okay, and I've had a little electric like dog clipper before, and instead of a seam ripper, use that dog clipper. But then I saw somebody using something like this to seam rip, and I was going to try it. So this is a first. We're going to see if this works. So you're all in it together. Yeah, a little swear word. And you know, Sherry, I was ripping out the other day because I had a piece that was a little too short. So I'm going to try this little, see, that's a little hair clipper thing, hair shaver. So it's got a little razor with some little guards on there. So I'm going to see if it will cut this. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at here. Instead of seam ripping, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I thought it would work, and it did. Lifesaver, especially on these little bitty, you know, when you've got your seam narrowed down here. Look at this. God. Look at that. That ripped that off there. How long did that take? How long did that take? These were Temu. I know people sometimes don't buy from Temu, and I wasn't going to buy from Temu. I thought, oh, they're going to get my information, made in China. Everything in this country almost is made somewhere else. There's hardly anything made in this country. This fabric was made not in this country. I think there's one fabric company still in this country. So I bought some Temu stuff, and then I keep buying and they keep, but these were like $1, $1.50 for 6 or 8 of them. So look at this. It's not cutting my fabric, it's cutting the threads. This is all that stuff I sewed today. So you don't have to order from Temu, but I think they're at any drugstore, you know, in the Hiya, by the razors and things. Oh my God, look at that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, I never thought of using them for but then I saw something, and I used my little dog clipper, my little electric dog clipper before, but I'd also cut my fabric using my dog clipper. But there's where I sewed on my lines, and look, there's nothing there anymore. I spent, I don't know how long the other day because I sewed a piece that was too short because I didn't go and measure it. I sewed a piece too short, and it took me 30, 40 minutes to unpick stitches that were that short at 1.5 to pick out a whole line of those. I actually had to pick out several because I noticed I missed a place, like down in the third piece down, so I had to take out 3 or 4 pieces. Wow, life changer. Measure cut sew. You shouldn't tell me you had you used it for this. You didn't tell me, did you? She says she got them too. Yeah, Nola, try it. Try it. Try it. Oh my gosh. I just thought of those. Okay. Back on track here. We gotta finish up this block. We gotta get this one done. Okay, where's my right side? Hold it down here. It's not gonna matter in the long run where this thing is, but it's I do want the right sides up for the most part because it's not gonna be a big deal, but it's not going this quilt's not going to show. The quilt please start coming to my house. Sounds like I forgot to clean my machine to oil it too. I've been doing this for a while. You didn't know about it? Well, now we know. I think I'm going to go to some hardware stores too and do a little thing about different things you can use that you don't find in a sewing store. Anybody got any ideas? What are some things you use from a hardware store? I've got magnetic dishes. I've got a Aruba grip. Things that I got at a hardware store. A light. Oh my God, you should see this light I got that somebody gave me. Thanks, Measure Cut Sew 850. But yeah, where I stay, I never know what my lighting's going to be, and I didn't bring my hot light. She gave me this terrific lantern. There's like a 3 set of like travel lanterns, camping lanterns. You can use them for your car, like for emergency light. But they're a little lantern that pops up. She got them at Sam's Club on a sale deal, and they light up bright or brighter than my hot lights. And I left my hot lights at home. Oh. Yeah, magnetic pin holder. So the little screw dish that you can get at Harbor Freight, and you can decorate them up or just use them. I like magnetic pin holders. I just toss my pins towards it and catch it instead of being precise. I like pretty pin cushions. Don't run with scissors. Don't throw your pins, but I throw pins. So, okay, we got my row of white on here. I got to put 4 more colors and then my 4 white corners, and this one will be done. Again, we're not no criticizing on the pants, but they are so comfortable. They got cowgirls on them. Alrighty, let's get this trimmed up here. Rotary cutter blades. Oh yeah, if you're cutting cardboard. I got some rotary cutting blades yesterday from the company we just talked about. Where are they at? Where are those cutting blades? I'll reach over here. They're somewhere over here. There they are. So they came packaged like this. I haven't tried them yet. There's, I don't know how many's in here. 5 maybe, but they're just in a little plastic pouch. So I haven't tried them yet to see if they're any good. But they were only $1 or $2. So we will see. We will see. And you know, you're supposed to change your rotor cutting blade probably a lot more often than I do. You're supposed to change it and it gets dull, and you know, when you do change it, it's like, wow, I should have changed that thing a lot sooner. And then you don't change it. Back to my this little foldy thing. Get these rulers over there that I'm not using. Still didn't hear what's everybody else's other little guilty YouTube or Netflix guilty pleasures for watching while you're sewing. I also listen to books on tape, or as they call it, or books on audio books now. They're not on tape any longer. My mother calls them bodice busters. So the old historical romance things, I listen to those. You don't have to pay attention too much because you know what's going to happen. We all know who's getting who and what's going to happen, but I listen to those too while I'm sewing. Yeah, get down there, paper. Someday I'm going to learn to use this thing. There we go. Your go-to's audiobooks too? What kind of audiobooks do you listen to? Can you tell us? Is that a secret? Okay. So there we have those. I need color, and then white corners. And then that block will be done. BritBox or old movies. I don't think I've had. Is BritBox like that's British TV? Or British audiobooks? What is BritBox? Might have to do some checking out there. I Spy. Now you can see here, this one is not long enough. It'd be long enough for one of those inner corners. It's not long enough for that one. It goes back in the pile. And these are just ones I pulled out of my bag. I have lots more in the bag. I'm like, oh, look at this. See, I got this little tiger here. I'd like to keep that tiger. So let's put him over here. So I'm just going to center that tiger right there. If I wanted this tiger, I could just center those leopards, but I'm going to have enough. I'll be able to use those leopards later. So as long as it overhangs your line, it doesn't matter. Older British TV, like Monty Python, and who was that? The good, was there one called The Goodies? My brother used to watch The Goodies in the 70s. I like The Goodies. But then there's some other old British dramas. You know, we get those on PBS. Some of those older British series. Audiobooks. Just finished Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. That's a good one. We had to read that in high school as part of our, literature class, advanced literature. We read Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, I like big books and I cannot lie. There we go. I got my tiger. It says Fierce. Fierce is going to get cut off, but got my tiger, and I'm just going to chop that off right there. It'll be trimmed later, but I'm going to chop him off right there. There we go. That goes back in the pile. Right now I'm listening to the Oh yeah, I've done the Persian Pickle Club. I listened to all those. I listened to those a long time ago. That was a good series. I listened to Outlander. You know, Outlander is a series on TV. I also read the Outlander books, and I had the Outlandish Companion. But some big books. And the Outlander TV series, it follows the books pretty well. But there's no way there's no way on any TV show, movie that they can actually fit everything in a book, all the details in the book into a movie or so. I don't read near as much as I used to. You know, I was so disappointed as a child because I was so excited when they were coming out with the Little House on the Prairie, and then I was so disappointed when they took liberties with the story that was different than the book. I need to get 4 more pieces on here. Hopefully I can get them on before my phone battery dies. We're gonna try to finish this up here. Okay. Don't want no batteries dying. I need to so faster. So faster. Yeah. Books are always better, but it's hard to read while you're sewing. Those unabridged, that's why unabridged versions are good, right? Okay, what else do I want on there? Let's put this blue star along with a watermelon. Blue star and a watermelon go right together. Everybody would always put those together in a quilt, right? Again, no pant commentary. If I cut off, I'll come back and show you in a little short, just a picture of the spinal block if I die here. I think we can get it though. I think I can. Like a little engine that could, huh? Now that you stuck with me this long, we want to see the finished product, right? So this one, I'm not even going to trim the edges. I'm just trimming to be able to get my corners. Now corners are a little different. They're more of a square than a strip of fabric, but you can use just a wider strip. Or a chunk of fabric. This is where I messed up last time. I was trying to hurry and get it done, and I did not leave my 1/4 inch at the end. You see on here, it says a cut line and a 1/4 inch line. I cut on my 1/4 inch line, so then I had to go back and add. Silly me. Blue star and watermelon means 4th of July. Hey, yeah, there you go. See? Never thought of it like that. I'm gonna have to get my watermelon put out and show that. I did bring that with me at the string piecing. It was using that periwinkle block from Missouri Star, and I did watermelon. I got some watermelon fabric because I'm always out for a good deal. There was a place where I'm from, and they make beach things on the beach, and they were going to take those visors and cover them with fabric, and they bought all this fabric and then decided they weren't going to do it, and somehow I got up with them, and they were selling all of this fabric for nothing, and I got all this watermelon fabric. I got all kinds of fabric, all kinds of fabric, my bolts of fabric. They had cut it in half, a lot of it, to like 22 inches instead of 44 to make it easier for them to work with. But it still worked for me even at 22 inches. But I have watermelon fabric using those periwinkle web. So I've got it's spider webs in the watermelon field. And my uncle he was a coal miner, but he also had a farm. My granddaddy was a big farmer. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records for the biggest cucumber. Trivia fact. But my uncle was a watermelon farmer in Indiana. And if you're from the area, you know those are the best watermelons. We can debate that, okay. Southern Indiana has the best watermelons. So he had this watermelon farm. So I made that in honor of him, and I brought it along with me to quilt. So I'm going to have to show you that here sometime. I'll just Put a little quick picture maybe up on my YouTube page of that watermelon quilt. I mean, I still need to get my batting. This town I'm in, it's got, I'm not sure how many people. There's quite a few people in here. There is one quilt store, and I have gone in there. She doesn't really sell batting. She's got some older fabric if you're looking for older. I didn't see any batting in there. There's no big box store here. The next closest town is about an hour away. They have one of the big box stores. We do have a Walmart in this town. And they had one package of batting for a crib. That's all they had. They did not have any other size. So I know I need to order it from one of those places. I'm slapping my four corners on here. So I'm thankful for all of you that have subscribed. Tell your friends to come and subscribe. Join my Facebook page, the Traveling Quilter Facebook, and share your projects and share what you would like to see, because I can only think of so much. Of course, when I'm hurrying, you know what happens? Needle come unthreaded. Get that sucker back threaded again. Automatic threaders, I do love that, because heaven forbid I had to see that little needle hole right now. How we doing up here? How much battery I got left? So one more piece on. Thank everybody for coming and joining me today while we're doing this live. Oh, right side, white on white. I'm going to quit using white on white. I say that every time I start doing more white on white. I say it and I say it. And do I do it? I sure don't. Okay. Let me iron these down, and we'll see what this looks like here. We're going to see what this pineapple block looks like. You helped me get one more down, because the ones you see here on the table, if you can see them, those are the only ones I have to finish to get my watermelon blocks all done for this time. And then I'm not starting a new thing. I'm going to finish something else that I have started over the years. And quit being a squirrel. I keep saying that too. Quit being a squirrel and start new projects. Do what you've got. Okay. Does that look any good? Ha! No. Looks like a bunch of mess, doesn't it? Well, I also, besides the pineapple papers, I've got the pineapple ruler. It works good too. But these papers make it so easy. And you don't even need the ruler. I've seen videos of people not using the ruler, but I slice. Look, see, being fast, sliced into my seam allowance, but that's okay. I will be in there at the end. Let's not do that again. Cut that so I can get that off. So there's the trim line and the 1/4 inch line. In that one place, I sliced right into my 1/4 inch, but that'll be all right. It'll work. Get that out of the way. There we go. Some of that scrap, some of it's keep. There we are. One more pineapple block done. Get rid of that thread. There we go. Whoop, whoop. It's done. Oh, can't show you that one because that one's not done, but I'm going to tear the papers off here. Let me show you how easy those papers tear off too, since we use that little short seam. Just start on one corner, fold it back, and they just zip off. And I miss the trash can. Usually I have a pile of papers sitting around. You sew them and pull them off in the reverse order you sewed them on. Sometimes it tears, that's okay. You just tear it off like that. Make a pile of papers. And if you got little bitty pieces hanging on there, I think they'll be okay. Once you get it in your quilt, you know what? They're gonna wash away when you wash your quilt. I've got a long arm at home. It made a difference to me. I mean, maybe your long arm, if you send your quilts out, maybe they care if there's a little bitty piece of paper, but it shouldn't matter. Should not matter one little bit if there's a little piece of paper hanging on there like a minuscule piece. And the easiest way to tear these is like go corner to corner to corner and just tear them in the opposite direction you put them on. That way you're not reaching across. Yeah, so give some paper piecing a try, whether it's on one of these pre-made things or go print up your own triangles, half square triangle papers. Google half square triangle paper, free download. And you download them, print them up. And all you got to do is follow the lines on there. Paper piecing patterns, you know, there's all kinds of geometric patterns, animals, butterflies, flowers, any design you want. Try a few of them before you commit to something big and get discouraged. Just see if you like it. Remember to overlap on your line, so you have to allow for that 1/4 inch past your line when you're sewing on the back. So allow for that. When you get into those fancy patterns, you gotta be a little bit more precise on pieces. Or when if you buy a kit, a little more precise, because some people's kits don't give you any extra leeway on what you buy. But if you're using your own, you can do what you want. It's your own when you buy the kit, but if it's an older kit, sometimes they don't have that particular piece of fabric by the time you get to it available anymore. So you have to just find something that kind of matches. So now how many more of these do I have to do? 5, maybe? And that was a start to finish whole one. But when I'm doing this kind of thing, I get several started and then I'll finish 5 or 6 and then start some more, work around it. If it takes 40 blocks, I guess you could start all 40 of them and do round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on all 40. And do 5, 6, 7, 8 on all 40, but I like to see a little progress. So that's why I kind of do a few at a time, just so I can see where I'm at. 1. And you don't need the big expensive glue sticks. You can use school glue, the name brand kind, or the cheap dollar store kind. And you just need a dab of it just to hold your very first piece in place. And if you're using bigger pieces, you can, when you iron them down, you can also take a dab and stick down a piece just to hold it in place if you think it's going to flip on you while you're sewing. So see, I put that glue on there at the beginning. It's already dried up and coming off. So there we go. And there's one little piece of paper left right there. Get that one off. Get that one off. Even though I said it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. They came off. Made a big mess. There it is. Thanks everybody for coming to watch and joining me for my first live. Join me on the Facebook page, The Traveling Quilter, and like and keep subscribing. And make a comment on last night's video about reaching the 400 subscribers if you would like to win this lovely little ruby red goblet. It's heavy too. You could drink out of it. You can make you a pincushion. You could sit up by your door for intruders and whack them with it. It's heavy. But I'll get this sent out here next week to my winner. And maybe I'll include one of those little shaver things too, because I can't imagine I'm going to be shaving, hopefully not shaving out, ripping out that many stitches. I'll stick a little shaver in my ruby red. So make a comment. Oh, you're so welcome, Measure Cut Sew. I will talk to you soon. I will be back at least on Sunday with a winner. That's tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, that's tomorrow. Sunday's tomorrow. See, I told you I can't keep track of the days. So tomorrow afternoon, I'll come back and draw a winner for the Ruby Red Goblet. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, go to the Facebook. Thanks, everybody, for subscribing over the last month and liking my videos. Tell me what else you want to see. I will see you soon. Bye.